Now, how do you feel about your accent? Do you drop your babs and ducks when you're in the office? Well, according to new research, almost half of UK workers have had their accents mocked, criticised or singled out. Speaking on the Today programme on Radio 4 this morning, Adrian Childs says he always felt people misjudged him because of his Brummie accent.
It was to my advantage because people always underestimated me. They underestimate because they hear a Brummie accent and they think you're thick. Now, I wasn't, for some reason, I'm very sensitive in every other aspect of my character, but I was never offended by this. I thought I'll just work with it. So when I came to the BBC on work experience, my knuckles dragging along the floor in about 1992, straight out of college, then I found people thought I was thick. But then I found I had to do relatively little to impress them.
Well, the Sutton Trust found that those with Midlands or Northern England accents were more likely to worry about the way they spoke. But why? James Boville's been investigating.
What better place to come to talk about accents today than a language variation class at the University of Wolverhampton, where the students today are actually talking about this report from the Sutton Trust, where it found that around 30% of people from the Midlands think they've been mocked because of their accent. Now, I'm joined now by a couple of students from the Black Country, Olivia and Joe. I mean, Olivia, this is an experience you think maybe you've had growing up.
Yeah, definitely. In professional settings, work, education, there's definitely that comparison, and especially a comparison of backgrounds. There's an internal bias that comes with it, and when you can hear where people come from, especially in terms of class as well as location, what they're kind of defined by with their accents. It does say a lot about who you are.
And Joe, you've got a really specific example of where you feel like your accent may have affected your prospects.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, before I came to university, I went and did Army Officer Selection Board, and I was joined by a lot of people who are private school educated, grammar school educated, had what you'd consider to be RP, and I felt kind of, not marginalised, but I didn't feel like I belonged in that kind of sphere due to my accent, and due to, there was obviously a few people there that kind of saw that my accent was different. They actually called me a Peaky Blinder, so I found that was kind of, there was a difference there. And that kind of maybe hindered my chances at being successful.
Joe, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Olivia, as well. I'm also going to speak to Esther Asprey, who is a lecturer in linguistics and English language. Joe, they're talking about Peaky Blinders. I mean, has that had a positive or a negative impact, do you think, on the perception of the accent?
My students were talking about this. They know people from Korea who want to learn that accent. They're quite taken with it. We've got papers from all over Europe with, tourism, people coming here to see it. They watch the show. They do like the Midlands, and they are starting to say things online like it's a sort of strong accent.
Esther, thanks for joining us, and also to the students here today as well. So some perceptions that still, I think, need to be challenged, but perhaps not all bad news. Both Adrian Childs, the broadcaster, and Jess Phillips, the MP today, have both said that they feel like their accent has actually been an advantage to them in their careers. Jess Phillips actually saying that she feels like it's been the greatest gift in her career as an MP.